Welcome. Today, your questions and comments will be answered. I'm Dealer.
And I'm Wheeler.
Oh, wow, what a megaphone.
Strong caramel coffee, man. Makes you feel all strong and crazy.
If you like picking, if you like watching our daily vlogs, if you like your questions and answers and comments picked apart by Wheeler and Dealer, if you want to know about our full-time trip, picking plan, current businesses, challenges, picking, listing, packing, and everything else, this is the show for you on The Crazy Picker Life with Wheeler, Dealer, and Banana Peeler. Welcome, fellow pickers and would-be adventurers. I'm Dealer with The Crazy Picker Life, and as usual on today's type question and answer show, I have my son,
Wheeler!
What's going on, Wheeler?
I have strong caramel coffee and I feel all pumped up. I already said that.
Yeah, coffee after supper. That's always good when you're going into a question and answer show. All right, so, you know, there's a lot of fakeness out there. Would you
Forced
agree?
Positivity, whatever you want to call it.
Forced positivity is just one part of it. If anybody doesn't know what forced positivity is, that's when, you know, you're too happy.
Hey guys, it's Wheeler here. Today I'm going to be doing this. I love this product. Woo-hoo. Okay.
Well, you know, there's so much negativity in the world, and average lives are tough. And so a lot of people look for positivity in any form in their lives.
Well, forced positivity, the videos that are really positive are so different from their lives that they like to watch them. I don't get it.
Well, if we're talking about lives or if we're talking about vlogs,
yeah,
this vlog is real. And so sometimes we show things that may
offend you, may trigger you, may make you flip a wig.
So this show is certainly not about forced positivity, but there's a lot of other fake stuff out there. I was watching Global Voodoo the other day, and he's talking about people, of course, accusing him sometimes about being fake. And then there's other channels, and he's not, by the way. There's other channels out there that, you know, how to make $1 million in 5 minutes. There's some that I've just been scanning lately where you can tell they might know a little bit about eBay, but they have a big following, and then they do a big eBay day where they make $1 million on eBay, and you listen to them, and you just, I'm not sure they're real.
There's this one guy who actually seems pretty real on YouTube. He has a big following. I forget what his name was, but he's pretty funny. So,
well,
I don't know. Show you that guy.
So here's
some people like that.
Here's the disclaimer. We're gonna do what I think will be a very valuable question and answer from your questions and answers and comments that you've put on our channel down below in past videos. We're gonna talk about our business. We're gonna be down and dirty, raw, straight, pretty much unfiltered, possibly unedited. I don't edit much. If there's a clip, I tend to clip on one end and that's it, and the other end and that's it. You're gonna get it all.
Yeah.
Now, if you like that about eBay, it's buying and selling on eBay, buying and selling on Amazon, picking, listing, all that stuff, you're gonna like this show. But here's a disclaimer. If any of these things I'm about to tell you offend you, like this is what I'm about and this is my list, Wheeler is my son, he probably agrees with this list. If anything I'm about to tell you triggers you and offends you and you can't handle it, you shouldn't watch this video.
Triggered.
Okay? Here's what the realness that we offer. This will show through our videos. We're Catholic, Christian family. We're pro-family. My wife and myself have 6 kids. We're pro-homeschool. We're pro-USA, United States of America. We're pro-small business. We're pro-family business. We're pro-hard work pays off. We're pro-American dream. We're pro-making money. We're pro-government for and by the people. We're pro-adventure And I'm pro beer.
I'm pro camera.
And you're pro camera. So if any of that triggered you, you shouldn't go on from here. We're not going to talk about all those things, but that is who we are. Now, one other thing. Today is Friday, and we have a new president, President Trump. And I know, people love Trump. And I know, people hate Trump. Okay, I'm happy Trump is president. I'm waiting to see some results. Now, we've seen some already. If you follow the political scene, we've seen some already. There's jobs coming back. There's a businessman in the White House. Some people don't like that. Some people say we don't need a businessman in the White House. Well, what do we need? Another politician? What do we need? Some greasy dude? And I'm not referring to any particular politician when I say that. What do we need? Some lifetime slickster salesperson?
What do you need? Some forced positivity YouTuber?
Forced positivity? Well,
those kind of people.
I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but let's say Obama, let's say Bush's, let's say Clinton's. Did they really help America? You can answer that question. And again, if this is offending you, you may not want to go on. Here's my statistic I'm going to throw out there. And it came from a reputable source. You can look it up. You can do your own research. Obama, President Barack Obama, came into office about 8 years ago, and we had a national debt of a certain amount, right? 8 years later, the debt was bigger. How much bigger in 8 years, do you say? $75,000 for every working man or woman in the United States additional.
Could have bought a Hasselblad for that money.
So 8 years ago, we had one debt. It did not get slowed down. It did not get reversed. $75,000 for each and every one of us that's working got added to that. That's why we need a businessman in the White House.
Serial entrepreneur.
Now again, I am a Trump fan. I am not worshiping the man. I believe that he's going to change some things. I would like to wait and see. I'm willing to give him a chance. Now that we got all that out of the way, was that intense?
Oh yeah, the thing is you put all the triggering stuff in the beginning of the video so then somebody doesn't get triggered near the middle and like get all like, oh, you're wasting my time. So I
don't want to waste anybody's time. So if I've offended you, hey, you're only like 7-8 minutes in, you can go to do whatever you want to do. I can feel the thumbs down. Now here's what I'm going to ask. If you've stuck with us this far and you haven't got triggered, you're willing to give the rest of the video a chance. I mean, I'm putting us out there a little bit. Now's the time to give it a thumbs up. If by the end of the video you feel it wasn't worth your time, you can remove your thumbs up. You can even change it to a thumbs down. But there's going to be a lot of thumbs down with this intro. I have a feeling. I'm going to brush it off. I'm going to tough it out. I'm going to continue on. But if you are ready to go on, you think this is going to be all right, you're with me, maybe even you believe in a lot of what I said, thumbs up time, right? I know I don't sit there and beg for thumbs up, but hit that
thumbs up everywhere. Everybody give me a thumbs up in here. I want to get a thumbs up right now. Woo! Get the auctioneer speed going.
Okay, now that we've done all that, my goodness sakes. The last disclaimer. What we're about to talk about, this is the real, raw, unfiltered buy-sell business for us.
Yep.
And so this is what works for us. This is what works for Wheeler and Dealer and Banana Peeler and our business. It may not work for you. You still have to do your due diligence. Continue with this video at your own risk. Oh, man.
The intro is over. Now let's get into the real content in about 5 seconds.
Well, this is sort of insane.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But what we're going to do is I'm going to look at my computer, which is over here, and we're going to just start taking some questions and some comments, and we're going to read those. I'm going to give you a chance to respond, Wheeler. I'm going to give myself a chance to respond, and we're just going to hit as many as we can until we pass out. Now, before this started, I also said, hey, Wheeler, you got any, stories, things you want to talk about? I said, here's a few that are on my mind, things like, the trip, our progress on that. If we feel like interjecting, I've got a global shipping versus other international shipping story. We might interject those.
Yeah.
While you're answering the question, I'm going to be listening out of one ear, and I'm going to be over here looking for the next question.
Yep.
Okay?
I'm sharp tonight compared to usual. Had the coffee, I'm super crazy.
Wheeler says he's sharp. Now, I know I said last disclaimer. This is not a disclaimer. This is awesome. Give it a couple minutes. We are sponsored by Graphic Stock during this segment, this 2-hour video, and I appreciate it. Here is what Graphic Stock is in a nutshell. This video was sponsored by Graphic Stock. Graphic Stock has the largest unlimited download library of graphics, photos, vectors, and images on the internet. In fact, they have over 300,000 available for download. Most websites charge per image or per graphic. It can cost as much as $30 per image. Costs like that can add up quickly. With Graphic Stock, you get unlimited downloads with your membership. During a 7-day free trial, you can download up to 140 pieces of content, or you can also sign up for their annual plan, which is just $99 per year for unlimited access for all of those 300,000 plus images. All memberships come with a 100% royalty-free agreement. This means you cannot get sued by copyright holders for use, and you can use this content in your commercial projects. If you take a look at my box down below, there will be an exclusive link, and you can get a 7-day free trial to Graphic Stock by clicking that and following it through. Now, when I was looking at Graphic Stock here, I wanted to check out if it had any images that I could use. I checked things like flea market, and sure enough, look at that. Images that look like things that you would find at your local swap meet flea market. I also looked up camera because we do a lot of things with camera. And if you know dealer, you know that he likes beer, and so now I can have all the royalty-free images of beer to put in my videos and websites and content that I want. And one last thing I like, because you can check has transparency, and it will do all the background editing. You can just stick that right in and not have to worry about doing any depixelization or removing pixels, so that it will fit right with your content, like an overlay. Graphic Stock, thanks again for sponsoring this video, and back to the show. Okay, before we get moving here, let me look over and get my computer started here and hit my password. Oh no.
I got a fingerprint sensor there. Oh wait.
No.
I don't have one.
First question, and I'm not taking these in any order, and it's, it is how it is. For me, I'm just going to go down the line. So the questions that came in last go first.
Yep.
If we miss any questions, please submit them again. When we have another question and answer thing like we do every 2, 3, 4 weeks, I'll shout it out a couple of videos before that video. Just submit it again. I'm sorry if we miss it.
Yep.
If we don't get all answered what you've asked, if we totally missed the question, re-ask it in a different way. That's how the real world works anyway. Okay, number 1, do you get much mail from your mail correspondence? Okay, down below, we're totally transparent. You can send me snail mail if you want. I have a P.O. box. You can send me mail. You can send me Schlitz beer. You can send Wheeler cameras. Whatever you want to send, you could. Do we get a lot of mail? Since the show started, we get something every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
Would we mind getting something from anybody every day? You got kids that want to color pictures for our kids. You got pictures you want to send us. Whatever you want to send us by snail mail, go ahead. There is a P.O. box down there. We like mail. No obligation. Okay. What size bubble wrap do you order from Uline? What size bubble wrap do you think I order?
I have no idea, really.
I ordered 200-foot rolls, 3/16 inch bubbles, perforated.
How wide? I was trying to guess. I was going to say 3 feet, but I don't think it's quite that wide.
18 inches wide?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not sure. They're right over there. I'm not going to get up.
Yeah.
But that's it. 3/16 inch bubbles. Okay. Question and answer. Okay. Dealer, how much do you think your daily vlog helps your bottom line in terms of daily sales? That's one question. What do you think?
I don't know. Does it help it at all?
I think it's a wash.
Yeah.
I mean, I do feel the pressure of having to come before the daily vlog. So some days when I don't feel like doing anything, I'm like, I got to do something because I got to show something.
Yeah.
So that might help a little bit.
No, absolutely. I think once I start my daily vlog, which sort of is right now.
But on the other side, I'm taking a percentage of my day to record these videos and edit these videos and answer questions. And so that detracts a little bit. So I think it's a wash.
Yeah.
Now, you know, what are you going to do?
Yep.
It's hard to tell because we've done the daily vlog now for 200 days. And so that's like 6 months.
Feels almost like a year. Well, it is almost a year. That's what I'm saying.
It's like 6 months plus. And the second half of that, I started to take a day off a week and I started to take a day to work on the business. And I noticed a little drop off in our sales, a little bit. And that it's too hard to tell.
Yep.
So there's a number of things that have been changed and have been going on. I would say it's a wash. So let the daily vlog continue. By the time you're ready to go on the road, how many items would you like to ideally have in your inventory? Right now we have, like, give or take 3,000 items. In fact, I think we have probably 3,200 items in our listed inventory right now. For those of you that don't know, we are going on the road full time as a family of 8, picking, living on the road. We're going to rent houses for 3 months at a time in various locations of the country. We're going to family adventure. We're going to homeschool. We're going to pick, buy, and sell on the road. Well, I don't have my trailer yet. I don't know how big my trailer is yet. But I would say we would need to have that down to a couple thousand items, and they need to be smaller.
Yep.
I'm not about to pitch out all our small bread and butter items because that is where we make a lot of our money. I'm drastically thinking about and starting to reduce my inventory of larger, heavier items, and that will be a process. So a couple thousand small items, watches, camera accessories, camera lenses, all the stuff that I pick up, belt buckles and all that kind of stuff. That stuff is not too bad.
No, definitely not. Especially when you condense it down, because you see our totes when we bring them into the office, and that's like almost uncondensed form, and that isn't that much space.
I'm gonna have, if you've ever seen the shelving unit that I use for lens caps and camera filters, we're going to have the whole trailer lined with that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And so it's going to be very, very condensed. Big stuff, boy, that's going to have to be quick flipped or liquidated. It's just not going to be able to come along. It doesn't mean I'm not going to pick it up.
Oh yeah, quick flip will work.
But where I used to make $300 on a big item, I might make somewhere between $50 and $175 on it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not too worried about that. But that's, you know, these are good questions.
I think it is like you buy something at a pawn shop or somewhere else reasonably retail, you buy it and then you make 1.5 times your money in 1 week. That'd be the ideal way to do it.
Earlier in the month, you did a video going over your sales figures for 2016. What kind of impact do you expect going on the road full-time will have on your sales? I plan to maintain it or exceed it.
Yeah, it's hard to predict, but definitely.
Well, there's two things that are going to affect that, besides being on the road and the space concerns and all that, okay? There's two big things that I see. My wife will be joining us full-time in the business. Lon will be taking some of the responsibility away from me, including possibly all of the packing and a bunch of other stuff. I will be freed up mostly for picking and mostly for listing.
Yeah.
So when you add that horsepower to the horsepower we already have over here in the camera and watches, I don't think we'll have a problem. So that's one thing. Lon is joining the business. Now, family-wise, we're losing her income as somebody who worked outside of the house. So that's tough. But I think we'll make that up. I can list. I can list when I'm focused, and I generally buy and list pretty good things.
Yep. The thing is, I feel like I can't buy more in a day. Well, it depends. But I mean, like on a normal day, you can't go out and buy more than you can list in a day. So I think that'll work just fine.
Well, so Lon will be joining the business. That's a big positive. Obviously, the negatives is we're in a new area, which I really don't think that's going to bother us because
it could be fun if anything.
Well, I think the balance of a new area is we haven't been there, which means we haven't eyeballed the stuff that's there.
Yeah.
And then the negative of it is we're going to have to kind of get the vibe. We've got limited space. But the other big thing that's going to change for a positive is we're actually going to be picking more.
It's an interesting analogy I could make to that. I was looking at Ansel Adams' work, who's obviously you've heard of him probably. He's one of the most famous photographers, and the way he found really good landscape shots and the way a lot of landscape photographers find good shots, they don't just go to a spot and hope to have the right composition and everything. They literally live there and wait for months at a time to find the right picture. So that can be kind of how this is going to work, staying 3 months at a certain area instead of just popping in for a day or two. So we'll find the right items.
Well, I mean, we're going to work hard to find the right items. So I would rather buy 20 items, 20 good items in a 3 or 4 day period than I would buy 100. Now we're going to be able to regulate that. If we don't have enough stuff to list, you know, we're going to buy more. If we have too much stuff to list, we're going to try to buy better stuff, and we're going to try to list all that stuff. And if our inventory is not moving fast enough, we'll run bigger and bigger sales. We'll just keep going.
Exactly.
I don't see a problem.
Nope.
We're going to go into this situation debt-free. We're going to go into this situation with enough money to handle this whole thing. We're going to go into this situation with a whole year of housing paid out in advance. We're going to have our whole housing paid for a year in advance. Monetarily wise, business wise, low risk.
Yeah.
The next year and a half, we're working very hard to put that all in place.
Yep.
I mean, that's the deal, right? Okay, so here's a comment. It's not really a question. I want to bring it up. It says, it's a shame you have to defend yourself. And this has to do with yesterday's video of an argument you and I had.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we ever argue?
Occasionally.
Well, you and I have different personalities.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. We have similarities and we have differences. There are differences, though.
Yep.
And we're both, what would you say, high output.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be clashes. Anyway, we had a little clash. It got on video. Always get hate. I always have to feel like I have to defend myself. For some reason, the hate mostly comes at me, right?
Pull out your shield. It's time to go to war.
Yeah. So it's a shame you have to defend yourself. I think that discussion was totally normal for a father and son and business partners. If you didn't have disagreements, I would think that this is all fake, normal life. So we show a little bit of that. Now, I don't show everything. I don't take the camera into the bathroom with me. I don't take the camera and while I eat, food dripping off my face, at least not too often. I don't take the camera home with me very often. We don't show everything.
Just with the camera.
But part of this vlog is we're trying to show what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay? And I would say, personally, I am even keel most of the time. But I am prone to get triggered up and get all excited. And I am prone to be a little disappointed and down from time to time. And if for some reason something hits me when I'm in one of those zones besides even keel, it can come across. How about you?
I don't know. I think I take stuff reasonably lightly and try to brush stuff off, but I guess from other people's perspective, at least Dealer says that I'm pretty abrasive and defensive sometimes, so I guess. I don't see it, but that's just me. That's just my kind of out there-ness.
So, our business is not what I would call a high-stress business, although you and I have high goals. You and I hit it pretty hard. We work pretty long hours. We're go-getters. The rest of our life, you run pretty hard. You got schoolwork. I got 6 kids and a wife. I try to exercise. There's a lot going on. We can't project fake awesomeness all the time.
Woo! The family's so great. Woo, 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 woo. We're doing all this fun stuff. Woo, woo, woo.
So some people are real offended by some of the ways that I handle stuff. Some people are real offended by maybe a family type situation. Oh my goodness, Wheeler should A, be going to college and studying for his SAT. B, you shouldn't be working all the time. C, you should be out with your friends all the time. I mean, they all have all these things that you should be. And because I, make you be here or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's even worse than that. I get some things that we got a comment, I erased it, I had to ban the person. I'm going to bring this up. Somebody says to me, the Department of whatever, abused children in your town, your county, and she named them, is going to love this vlog because it outlines that your kids are working like slaves in a coal mine and you're the guy that's pulling the strings and I'm going to report you. That was what this statement was like. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
There's trolls like that, and then there's just dumb people.
Well, she named our county out.
It was a threat.
And it was a threat. And I take that very seriously. That's like somebody coming up to me with a knife on my family. I mean, I do everything for my family, and you come up to me like that. So that disturbed me, and that gets me a little bit, antsy. And just to answer that question, by the way, there are all kinds of rules for people that are kids about working too many hours, about kids working after hours, about kids and homework and school and homeschool. All these things get a lot of people confused. They have questions, and a lot of people think that they got to be triggered and you shouldn't be doing that, right?
Yeah.
Well, as a family business, there is what's called an exemption. And it's because families know best for their kids. And so I could have Wheeler work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's it. There's no limits.
Yep.
All my kids could do that. Even cute Elizabeth could work for me all the time, as long as we're not working in mining, explosives, gasoline, hazardous. Can't be a surgeon with blood squirting everywhere, whatever. So don't do any of those.
Okay.
All right, let's not go down that rabbit hole any further.
Yeah.
But, so do I have to defend myself? People come at me with crap like this, and I'm like, are you kidding? We're just trying, here's what this vlog is. We are trying to inspire other like people. You don't have to do everything we do, but as we go down this list of things that we are as a family, We're trying to show other people that, hey, look, you can prosper. You can be a family. You can have these things. It is not easy. There's pressure. There's like people out there. That's what we're trying to do. And okay, I know there's going to be negativity. I know there's going to be haters. I know there's going to be comments. I know all that. It doesn't mean I have to be happy about it.
YouTube is an anonymous platform and may have all kinds of trolls, man.
Oh,
That's how it works.
Yeah, but like I said, boy, you know.
Yeah,
you bring...
that was a bit too far. Just a bit.
I'd like to see this person's eBay business. I'd like to see this person's family. I'd like to see what they really do for a living. I'd like to see if they're really happy. I'd like to see if they believe what they're spouting. And then I just say, all right, see, you are a fraud. Oh my gosh, let's keep going, right?
It's supposed to be a picking video, right?
It's supposed to be a picking video, but look, this is part of the realness that you have to deal with when you put yourself out there as somebody who's just trying to contribute a little bit to the United States. I got to go off on this a little bit too. Look, in the United States, land of the free, we need to fight to keep this country free. A lot of the things that we stand for, including family, are under attack in this country. They're under attack in this country by people that are messed up. And so this is a way to combat this, what we do, okay? It really is. This is what we do. All right. Another question. So when you go on the road, will you need to change your process to list everything before getting more? Yes.
More or less, yes, for sure.
I love buying stuff. I like having a back stock. I will not buy something if it's a good deal. So let's say I have 1,000 items and Lon, my wife, is like, how the heck are we going to fit that in the trailer? And I'm out at a restaurant, and on the way to the restaurant, we go by a rummage sale. And at that rummage sale is the best thing ever. I'll buy it. Right?
List it, sell at auction, next couple days, it's great.
But in reality, the current model that we're under, all summer long we buy more. In the fall we have more. We try to get it listed for the holiday. First of the year comes, we still got all that ugly back stock that somehow got shoved aside, which not all of it is ever bad. We list that all until spring, and then we start over again. When we're on the road, it's going to be more of a uniform cycle.
Yep.
Buy list, buy list, buy list, buy list. We're going to monitor that, and Lon is going to be in on this, and she's going to help me monitor it. I know it.
Right now, the balance is, like, there's a lot more days we can list, and there's a lot less days we can go out and pick right now. So when we're on the road, obviously we'll have more of an even balance to that.
Well, let's say it's Wednesday, and we have 100 items to list.
Yep.
And we're under pressure to list those. I may still go out picking for 2 hours, but during those 2 hours, I'm going to try to find like 5 really good items.
Absolutely.
As opposed to 100 more.
Yep.
And those 5 are going to pay off big time.
Yep.
So it will change, but the pick well, list often is really going to be...
That's the motto.
Really going to be in there.
Yep.
Now, if we are overburdened with stuff, we'll find a way to get it to the next port. We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out.
Yep.
We'll readjust. We'll adjust. But yeah, there will be changes. What percentage of things do you think in the last year we bought were not great buys?
It's hard to gauge.
And I think we make money eventually on 98% of the stuff we buy, 95% of the stuff we buy.
Yeah.
We rarely lose money. 1 out of 100 items, 2 out of 100 items, throw out, lose money, doesn't pan out, something like that.
Yeah, because you have to say that most of the bad buys would be broken items that you didn't think were broken. So that's probably, that ups the percentage quite a bit. But stuff that you bought that do turn out to work and just aren't worth as much, that's low.
Yeah, and out of 100 items, 10 of those right now, maybe 15, maybe 20, are like home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the kind
no-brainers.
The kind that you want to find all the time.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole section of like varies from top to bread and butter to below, you know.
Yep.
Good question. Another question by the same person. Why do you have several eBay accounts? Okay. If you're Starbucks, you sell coffee.
Don't sell cattle, coffee, and cigarettes.
You sell coffee, you sell rolls, and there's some drinks there. You sell things that go with coffee.
Yeah.
You don't sell hamburgers.
Yeah.
So we have an eBay account for hamburgers. We have an eBay account for coffee. We just call ours cameras, watches, general cool, near west merchandise, beer signs.
Yep.
We also he has an account and I have an account when we did the $1 to 50K days.
Yeah.
Which we need to talk about at some point. We tried to take $1 and flip it into 50,000. We did 2 cycles of it to compete, right?
Yep.
We won't, if people really want to know about that, we'll talk about that sometime. So we have 6 accounts, 4 we're using. Will we trim that down? Probably not.
Yep.
I used my personal account for liquidating some things of my own in the last couple of years too. You use your account for buying and selling a few things of your own.
Yep.
Is it a pain to have multiple accounts? Yes.
That's what I was going to ask. Yep.
But I think the benefit of branding them, and we try to brand ourselves as an expert, and in a sense,
specializing makes you seem a lot more like an expert than broad market.
When we started that Canon Guy channel, the camera channel, we were not experts. You were not an expert.
No.
You wanted to be an expert. You were passionate. You did the research.
I had a lot of technical knowledge, but I didn't have quite all the pieces fit together yet at that point.
So there was some fake it till we made it in there.
Yep.
And then now, there's still, you can't know everything about cameras, but we get a bump on the camera channel, on our cameras, because we're able to provide support, knowledge, the listings are clear and all that. Same with the watch channel. Same with my Northwest Kansas channel. There's a persona that we pick out in the Northwest Kansas, near west, bang, 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 cowboys and dust, depression, old antiques, things that don't rust, things don't change out here, small populations. There's a persona there, and people will pay up. They'll discuss things with me, all that.
Yep, absolutely.
So branding works.
Well, it's interesting. I try to sell the same lens on both channels. My personal channel, which has, let's say, 250 feedback, 100%, reasonable channel. And then I try to sell on a camera channel, and I guarantee you I can get at least 25% more for that item in a faster manner too. Like usually I get more watchers and it'll go slower on my other things. So the camera specialty channel is really a plus.
Yeah. And I'll give you another quick example on that. We changed my test strip, my diabetic test strip channel. It was Test Strip Guy. We changed it to Northwest Kansas Watches.
Yep. And
now that it's a watch channel, people don't want to buy test strips from me as much anymore.
Yep.
And that's okay, because that business is dying a slow death, and it'll have to be cut off when we go on the road, most likely. I won't be able to continue that very easily because there's a timeliness and it requires people to send me stuff. We might do some campaigning locally wherever we are.
Yeah.
Might put some signs out. I don't know. I feel for people that have any medical condition. That's not the issue. I like to buy and sell and help people, which that business did. Personally, I would rather go pick up an old rusty 1940s toy Jeep.
Yeah.
Than meet somebody and say, hey, thanks for the diabetic test strips. It's just how it is. I would rather buy and sell things I like.
Yeah. Oh, there's BP.
Hey!
Haha, BP in the house!
Come on in here, banana peeler. Just careful, don't bump into anything. All right, this is the third person in our business. He's not going to be in the show. Where were you, man?
At a party.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I boycotted my wife's little get-together because it was a holiday party.
Dude replaced him.
Yeah. And
this is the analog.
And I don't know anybody there, and they weren't going to serve alcohol, so I was like, yeah, that's like a dry, weird party. So how was it?
Pretty good.
Did you get some good food?
Yeah.
Did you get some good dessert?
Yeah, they had homemade ice cream.
Desserts?
Did you play some games?
Not really.
Mom dropped you off?
No, we rode with somebody else.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. So you had to run over here in the dark. Woo! You're tough as a 12-year-old running in a crazy town with owls trying to get you. Okay, hey, there's some belt buckles and whatever else you want to do to list if you want. That's my other son,
BP the gamer,
banana peeler.
Yep.
And he's 12, and he's an up-and-comer.
Yep.
He's gonna beat you someday in a running race too.
I don't think so, man. I'll have my streak going. I'll be at like 2,000 races by the time it even starts.
Okay, at what age, now you know how old I am right now, at what age did you start, like, first beat me in a race, and then now obviously I can't run with you?
I don't remember. 10, 12, one of those two? Later? Earlier? Later? I don't remember, but I know it was Atwood 5 Mile or something was the first one.
Probably when you were 12 or 13.
Okay. I don't remember at all.
You were super passionate about running for a while, and then I think you needed to learn a little bit about diet and sleep and rest and not being such a...
I just lost my passion for it, really.
Kamikaze runner. So how come you're back?
I don't know. I don't know exactly. I'll be discussing this in a video that's up and coming within the next couple days. I ran 50 days in a row, and then I'll tell my story a little bit on my whole running adventure.
Running is one of those things that... now, you're my son. I have no explanation why I like running long distances, why I like racing. It's ingrained.
Trying to get away from society, all edgy.
It's ingrained in me, right. And you had it for a while, like you said, you burned out. Now you're back doing it by yourself. It's one of those things that comes and goes. And I think it's in our DNA as a people. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't activate it or give it enough time. I think it's just one of those things that would work.
Push yourself to really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I think I really treated it as a hobby back then, and I was going in and out of hobbies pretty willy-nilly.
Well, yeah.
So that was just one that didn't last. I was there for a while, though. I'll tell you that story there. I was a good runner for 4 or 5 years from early age.
Now you're back.
Yep, back.
I like watching you run because you remind me of, when I was your age, I was like, probably, I don't know why these are so foamy. I was probably as good a runner as you, but I didn't have water figured out. I was always dehydrated, and I didn't have diet figured out. And I was as passionate as you, but I enjoy watching you run. So you think you'll ever beat my time in the half mile?
Yeah. No question there, man.
Man.
I got it.
I look forward to that, but good luck, because I'm not the fastest there, but that's pretty fast.
Yeah. What is your time?
2:11.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's pretty quick.
2:11, yeah. Well,
tough.
I mean, there's literally thousands of people that have beat that time. There's, the high schoolers that are, and this was in high school, the high schoolers that are really good in the half mile right now are breaking 2 minutes.
Yeah, because this year, if I trained for a little while, I can break 60 seconds in the quarter mile. The problem is a half mile, it gets tough.
Oh, yeah.
So a quarter mile, I'm pretty good, but I guarantee you I can't hold that together.
For runners and non-runners, 2 laps around a standard track is a half mile. The first lap, when you want to go fast, you pretty much, it's not much less than if you were doing a 400.
Yeah.
Then they ring the bell lap, and then it's really the second lap is the mental lap where you got to hang on and you got to kind of scope your competition, and then you finish with all you have.
I think I broke 2:30 once. I think is my record right now. I forget.
Well, 2:11's different than
that was at least
2:30. Now in my high school, and like I said, 2:11.
Out of shape. That was out of shape run too.
2:11 is nothing to brag about or anything like that. In my high school, we had 5 or 6 people that regularly ran the half mile better than that.
Yeah.
And then there were other people that ran different distances that probably could have. And so it was a lot of competition. Out here, strangely, I mean, there's not a lot of runners. If I was on the high school team out here in high school, I would always be in the top 3 runners at 2:11.
Yeah.
So you would too. Okay. Now, boy, we get all over the place. We had a question and a comment come in. I just want to throw this out there for anybody that doesn't know it. On eBay, I think even there's 3 levels of stores.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the names of them are other than the biggest one is Anchor. We have an Anchor store. Our camera store is an Anchor store. Our Northwest Kansas one must be premium. And then I think the watch channel, I just signed it up as like a basic.
Yeah.
Basic, premium, and Anchor, every quarter you should get a coupon. $25 for the small one, $50 for the middle, $75 for the Anchor. That coupon can be used for eBay merchandise. Now you may not get that
t-shirt and a hat and be all branded, right?
You're going to have to look back through your messages because not everybody sees this coupon. It took me a couple cycles of getting it when they started this a year ago or whenever they started it. But I basically get free boxes.
Mm-hmm.
I get every quarter $150 worth of free boxes on top of everything else. Now your store level should make sense for whatever size your business is. You need to get down with paper and pencil and figure out what size store you need. But other than being able to run sales and you get discounts on listings and all that stuff, you get these coupons, and that's hard money for me. I don't have to buy Uline boxes. And I do buy new boxes for the most part. And so that's like $100+ in my hand every quarter. That's worth looking into if you have a store. Look back in your messages. We're at the 20th of January. That message should have come in sometime early in January. Here's your quarterly coupon. Look for it.
Yeah, and basically, like a professional boxer comes to your house and he gives you $150 worth of boxes. It's pretty awesome. Pretty funny boxes.
Well, look at that. You came in and...
Oh, yeah. Just peeked through my head on that one.
Well, we had this last episode, who knows, but crusty camera, conundrum, whatever.
Yep.
Dirty cameras are not like dirty signs and stuff. Sure, you could sell them like that.
Yeah.
But the value would be, if we put some of those cameras in the tote and we just listed it, the value compared to all cleaned up, tested, whatever, what would the difference be?
It's hard to tell because the market would be shrunk quite a bit, but I'd say at half they'd sell reasonably.
3 to 1 even.
Oh yeah, I'd say at half or a third they'd sell pretty well.
Our camera, okay, let's say there's a $100 lens.
Mm-hmm.
This is a whole different scenario. Let's say there's a $100 lens. We could sell a lens for $100 because we test it, clean it up, list it correctly, identify it correctly. We back it up with a 30-day money-back guarantee. We answer questions. We're that Canon guy. We've got 8,000 feedback on that channel. 100% positive, 99.9% positive. All those things.
Yep.
We can sell it for $100. What can a non-camera channel or somebody that just sells it as is, or somebody else is putting that up, what can they sell that for?
It's really hard to determine because it depends on the market for the lens. If it's a really good seller of a lens at $100, I guarantee you somebody will pay $35 to $50 at auction from another seller.
Okay.
It depends because
now, if we run it at auction, we might only get 60 though.
Yeah.
So auction's really not.
No.
I'm not really comparing.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, it depends on how they describe it, really. Because if they say it's clean, clear, or if they just list it up as a generic lens, who knows? But that's
hard
to tell.
So there's a lot of factors.
There are a lot of factors.
But really,
title,
okay.
Description, yeah.
All right. So here's a way to quantify it. We might buy that lens in the field for $5.
Yep.
$10 maybe.
Yep.
If somebody knows what it is, $10, $15. If it's in a bag of stuff, by the time you compute what that lens costs us, it might be $5.
Yep.
And we're going to sell it for $100. Now that doesn't happen every time.
No.
But
we don't find as many lenses as I'd like.
If somebody lists it bad, here's a camera lens, and they got pictures where people can identify it on eBay, they might get $15 for it.
Yeah.
They might get $20 for it. The scale just keeps sliding. The more information you're able to do, the more testing you're able to do.
That's it.
The more knowledge. It's a
gradual thing.
It's a curve. If you have a persona about it, you know, like we're that Canon guy, that people can believe whatever they want. We're not a camera store. Some people think we are.
Yeah.
We don't have a 70-year-old guy that worked on film cameras all his life. Some people think we are.
Yeah. And I'll say one thing on that is feedback is a big deal on that. Like if it's a 2,000 feedback miscellaneous item seller, he's going to get more money. No, here's what I was going to say. Higher end items. That's where it makes a huge difference. Like somebody will pay for the exact same camera, $150 from a zero feedback / whatever, and it won't sell that fast. Well, the same camera we can get $600 to $800 out of because we fully tested it, we mention it, it's all guaranteed, and people are a lot more confident with something like that on higher end items for sure. Lower end items, people are willing to take more risks, I'll say.
So we would buy from a lot of people who would just list a lens as a camera lens.
Yeah.
We would buy from people who have lots of crusty looking stuff, all that stuff. You just don't get more money for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's all now,
it's hard to describe.
Now the other part of that though is I think the people that buy from us, they demand a lot more from us.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Because we demand a premium, they demand more. So if this thing doesn't fit, they're going to return it in a slick second.
Yep.
If it has a little nick on it, if it has a little bubble in the lens, if it doesn't live up at all.
Bubbles are desirable in lenses pre-1950.
If they try it and they don't like it, I mean, we get more returns based on harder criteria.
Yeah.
So to live in the middle has some advantages and disadvantages. To live on this side has some advantages. We can get a premium, but you have to act
as an expert.
As an expert, and
have a guarantee.
As a business, we have to act as an expert to get that. So it's not free.
No.
So if you want to get the premium, it's not free. Now here's another. I'm just going to lead in. This is going to be a story. Hold me at 5 minutes on this, or less.
So 19 minutes on the camera. 1940.
Okay, eBay is pushing global shipping. I think they should. It's a good move for them. They've got a hub. You ship everything to them in global shipping. They get a little piece of the shipping pie, as they should. They poop this stuff out to a country. They guarantee it. Wham bam, okay? It's a service that they provide. There are some things I don't like about global shipping, but for the most part, global shipping is good and eBay should provide it.
Yep.
There are some holes in it. For one, small, first class, lightweight, inexpensive stuff doesn't do as well in global shipping. In most countries, those type of items slip under the radar and they don't get import taxes as much, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's the expensive things that do. It's the heavier things that do. It's the priority shipping stuff that does. And so we have, for the most part, stuck with priority mail and first class.
Yep.
eBay seems to be continuing their onslaught of pushing global shipping, whether they're not getting enough people on it, whether they want to expand it, whether it's an economy of scale and they want to make it bigger so it makes more sense for them. I don't know, but here's what happened. We shipped a $100 plus lens to China. First class.
Yep.
I have not approached eBay yet. I haven't looked in my records yet to see if I'm insured. I may or may not have insured it. The person orders it. It is in Chicago, and it is in Chicago on December 23rd or 24th. That is the last record that First Class shows.
Yep.
That's a bad time of the year to be in Chicago going international. That's like busy, crazy day. Who knows what happens to it? The next record that should happen First Class is that it is in China being looked at through their customs, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we get to like the 12th of January, it hasn't shown up. That's not a big deal. The guy contacts eBay, where the F is this thing? I'm opening a case. And I'm like, okay, you open a case, here's the tracking. First class can take 6 to 8 weeks on the worst side. Sometimes it's sooner, depending on the country. I'm sorry about that. Email us anytime. We have stuff that takes 6 to 8 weeks, first class.
I bought stuff and it's taken insane amounts of time sometimes.
Sometimes it's 5 days. Sometimes it's 10 days. If I send first class to United Kingdom, Australia, Ireland, a lot of countries, it's quick. Canada, it's pretty quick, depending.
Yeah.
It can get hung up, but for the most part, it's pretty quick. China, South America, a bunch of other countries, first class can take forever for various reasons. China, one of the reasons is the addresses are all screwed up. There's too much language barrier. The addresses in China are upside down.
Yep. No
Symbols.
That.
It's all screwed up. I do my best, you know. So a couple days pass, the guy's like, hey, I got to have my lens or I'm going to demand a refund. Well, he approached me hard right away. I want a refund. And I'm like, dude, it's a $100 lens. It's in the mail. It's out of my hands. It could take 6 to 8 weeks. So he approaches eBay yesterday. He's like, I don't have my lens. I want a refund. And eBay sides for them and gives the guy a $100 plus shipping refund. Ooh! So now I'm left in the wind. My item is still out there. It could go one of three ways. Stolen, lost, never to surface again. It may be returned to me, which would be good. It may arrive at the guy's house and he's already got his money back. Now he's got the item. Bad position to be in.
Yeah. Yeah, ask for your money back from the guy who took
it. Global, you know, some people are honest. I've had people where it's shown up. It's been 8 weeks. I refund their money. It shows up. They're like, hey, it shows up. Here's your money. I've had a few people do that. I've also had stuff show up back at my shop after 8 months. Mm-hmm. So it happens. There's shipping problems. It's not a huge problem, but I do have a problem sometimes with China. So global shipping, if we did global shipping, eBay would have treated that different. They would have covered it. They wouldn't have refunded it. And how they used to do it is they used to wait.
Yep.
They used to be like, okay, we can't solve this problem. We'll wait on the mail. I'm wondering and I'm thinking things are shifting. I'm thinking this is a new January thing, that they're going to push global shipping a little bit more and they're going to start refunding money if it takes too long.
Yeah.
So we have 2 ways we can go. High dollar stuff, priority mail, which doesn't always solve things. Priority mail is supposed to be 5 to 10 days, and sometimes it gets lost anyway or slows down anyway. Or we go global shipping on everything over a certain dollar amount.
Yep.
I just wanted to share the story. I don't have all the answers. I'm a little frustrated. I'm going to look into it. I'm not going to put all my time and energy into it. It's $100, but we didn't really lose $100. The lens probably cost us $10. It was probably $13 to $22 to ship it to them.
Yeah.
So I'm out like $30 worst case.
Yep.
But still, you know, I don't want this to be happening. Thoughts, Wheeler?
Minute and 20 seconds over, 5 minutes.
Did I do all right?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I think that's an interesting story.
It is. Yeah, definitely. Changes on eBay are important to people.
Well, and I'm all pro global shipping except for a couple of things. The idea that countries don't tax small stuff. With global shipping, they tax, import tax everything. Mm-hmm. So the small stuff is not that benefited by global shipping. People that want to buy stuff from me will buy from my competitor that's doing first class compared to me because global shipping costs more.
Yeah.
Or seemingly costs more.
Yeah.
For us, it's all about just getting the stuff there. So we have to constantly be aware of that.
Yep.
We might do 50 to 100 international packages a month. Somewhere in there. So it is a big part of our business.
Yeah.
All right. Question for tomorrow or on your road trip adventure. Don't you think it will be hard for your 16-year-old daughter needing her space? From a father of 18-year-old girl, myself. Well, I have 6 kids. I have 2 daughters and 4 sons. I have a wife. We're a close family. We have pros and cons in how we all interact. I don't think we're a common type of family. We do more together than most families, I think. We experience more together than most families. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, we've traveled around before, and she tends to stay in her own little sphere anyway. She doesn't seem to have like a big space concern or whatever.
Yeah. And I think, you know, we're working on changing that a little bit, but we've raised our kids on Christian principles. We've raised our kids on family principles. We've raised our kids to be helpful in the family. We've tried to raise our kids to communicate with each other rather than just, you know.
Although that works every time.
Well, you know, we've got teenagers in the house. We've got pre-teenagers in the house. We got post-diapers in the house. It's chaos sometimes. Yeah. But it's all relative.
Yep.
I think we'll be fine. I hear you.
Absolutely.
I hear you. Now, if she's still with us, and if you're still with us when you're like 21 and 19, different dynamic. And then we'll have another couple rough and tough teenagers, and we'll have some preteens. And so the dynamic keeps changing. Someday, all you guys are going to have to be out of the house because Mom and I we're going to be old and all shriveled up.
Old in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this can't go on forever. Well, I like to read these comments because we do have, for every comment that comes into me and punches me in the face like a freaking punch, there's 10 that are very supportive and good. So I definitely appreciate that. I know we're doing the right thing. I just sometimes want to put some of these people in a headlock and give them a noogie until they regress past all the pain they've had in their life and they come out of it for a second and they say, you know what, dealer, you're right. I will stop picking on people.
Can't convert everybody.
So here's a nice comment. It's nice to see family working together. Nowadays, yes, you're going to bump heads sometimes, but who doesn't? There needs to be more families working together, not just work in life too. That's what's missing in this world. Thank you.
Truth, word, whatever the people say when they hear a good comment. We're scrolling.
Keep scrolling here. Talk, Wheeler, talk.
I don't know. What do I have to talk about?
Okay, so here's what you talk about while I look for the next question. We got a comment. Wheeler is on a roll listing. Now here's what I want to talk about. Mention somewhere in your little talk about how you're able to list really well, how you've got it streamlined. Is it by design or is it just random? I mean, we have, in my defense of anything that's going to come out my way, you list a lot, but we've designed the business to allow you to focus on that.
Yeah.
Does that help or not? Well, I mean, do you hate that?
No,
would you rather
not.
do everything? Talk about whatever you want, but maybe mention that we've designed it, me specifically, I've taken a lot of things off you so that you can focus on it because I realize that that's important.
Yep. I'm a listing machine. I don't know, this week in particular, and last week I guess sort of, but this week in particular, have a super incentive. So I always try to force myself to list in different ways. I have different timers. I have all different types of things to keep myself listed. I'd say it's like 25% random, 75% designed and whatever. Like I have bad days like everybody else. I have good days and all that kind of thing. So I don't know.
Right. Now we did do an experiment, and again, please, this is not knocking you and I'm not knocking Wheeler. We did a $1 to 50K challenge where all of a sudden we had a bunch of items that we were trying to sell, plus we were trying to juggle the regular business, and we found out that, what?
Well, I stopped listing about halfway through. It was a big part of it. I ended up with a big back stock, nothing listed, just a whole thing. I was just too immature at the time to really handle it. It was a big part of it. I just didn't have the work ethic I have now.
Right. So I think if you went out on your own and did all the things to run a business, I think what would happen is you would work through it.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee
There'd be
you,
struggles and all kinds of
I
other
guarantee
issues,
you there
yeah.
would be a lot of struggles. It would be similar to a skilled new person starting an eBay business.
Yep.
Because of all the packing, all the last in line problems, all the ordering of supplies, all the coordinating your trips, all the staying motivated and having goals and all that kind of stuff. You would work through all that.
Yeah, it'd be like a skilled hobbyist photographer quitting his job and trying to become a professional. It would take quite a long time and it would be really hard right at first.
So our current business model is I have tried to create an environment to succeed, and you are a huge component in that, but you're specialized.
Yep.
I could not do or enjoy, maybe I could do, but I would not enjoy like you enjoy working with the camera stuff. I recognized that early on. We created this environment, boom, go.
Yeah.
And I think it benefits us both.
Yep. I definitely enjoy what I do.
I mean, what if I said tomorrow, hey, you know what? I know this is going to be a tough transition, but you're going to pack all the orders from now on and do everything I do, and I'm going to do the cameras.
I don't think I'd like working quite as much.
Well, right. And I'm going to be like, well, hey, you can list some things you like, as long as they're not cameras or watches. Find something else, but you need to be in charge of getting all the orders out every day on time. You need to answer all the questions correctly and coddle people and make decisions so we don't get a lot of negative feedback. You need to handle all the bills and all the money flow and cash flow. You need to negotiate all the equipment deals and the leases and the rent. You need to smooth it over at home with mom and, take care of all that kind of stuff. You need to make sure we're stocked on beer, because I like beer, and all the snacks. You need to put in the schedule and make sure we start on time and end on time. And
start
all
the incentives, get all the stuff, yeah.
I mean, okay. Should we do that?
No. The thing is...
And you could do it all.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it would definitely be more like a real job than a fun kind of walk in the park every day. Thing is, I don't want to say it, but I think I'd have more free time to do like photography and stuff. But other than that, I enjoy what I'm doing in the office enough where I don't lose enough to...
Well, there's always the grass is a little greener
yeah.
on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Okay, my burning question, is there a good source for pricing, valuing watches? There are so many variations, I'm having a tough time finding a good pricing source. You answer, I'll answer.
Difficult. In a lot of cases, you'll be able to find little model numbers and things on watches if they're nice enough watches that you can look them up on eBay and you can get a reasonably good record on there. That being said, I don't have a ton of experience in the watch market yet, so not a fully conclusive answer.
I think
my first impressions of it.
I think if you're selling on Amazon, you should be looking up what things sell for on Amazon. If something isn't on Amazon, you have to decide if you want to list it yourself. I've never started my own listing on Amazon, although you can do it. If you are buying and selling on eBay, you should use eBay as your main pricing and lookup source.
Yeah.
And then go from there. You can Google images, you can go to all kinds of things. But really, I'll give you an example for cameras. What is that big thick book you have?
McNowans. Or it's not pronounced like that. People pronounce it differently. It's McKeown's or I don't remember.
How many pages is it? 2,000?
Yeah.
It's a 2,000-page book. We've used it. It's very interesting to look in there. It has history of the cameras. It has pricing ranges.
Yeah.
They're useless.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, you can look at it and say, okay, there's a $10,000 camera and here's a $20 camera, and if you had to pick based on that, you would always
yeah. And if you, because the thing is, if you scaled them up to a specific percentage, I think they'd be a lot more accurate. And you could scale all of them up, and it'd be 70% accurate then. But yeah, it's
but the point is,
low.
Things change. Whenever that was printed, things change.
Yep.
And
2005.
All that really matters is what it sells for on eBay.
Yep.
You can be the top of what things sell for on eBay, and if you have like a superb condition, never used, new in box, I mean, you can be to the top plus. But if you're not in that range, it doesn't matter what any guide says. You got to sell in that range.
Yep.
So that's your range to work with, which means when you buy, you better be buying so you can make money selling it in that range. You can't buy on conjecture that you're going to get some.
You have to do what you can to find a comparable. I'll say that.
On eBay.
On eBay.
If you're selling on eBay.
Like on this watch here, the Citizen Eco Drive. First of all, it says Citizen Eco Drive on there, but there's little model numbers below it. There's little model numbers on the back. If you can find one that looks like that, and then you can find a sales record on that, and then if you can't, find similar watches. Like look up Citizen Eco Drive, look up, I don't know, the same movement. I don't know. There's ways to do it if you're really motivated to figure out what what you have. In some cases you can't find it, but for the most part, it's there.
I'll say one additional thing, and we've went back and forth with this. If you are buying things that you can't find on eBay with their 60-day sold results, if you are continually buying all these crazy oddball things that you don't seem to be finding, you might not be looking correctly, and so you need to hone that. But even so, we have things we can't find on the 60 days very often.
Yeah.
You can go and get a service like WorthPoint, which has taken and cataloged, I don't know, the last 10 years.
Yeah, and it's 40% of the last 10 years. I don't think it catalogs every single item. It's not 100% accurate, but still.
You know, you can use a
That's a lot
service
more.
like that. It's really, I don't subscribe to them right now.
Yep.
I don't.
There's one other one too that we used to use too. I forget. That's eBay only.
Therapy.
Yeah. No, maybe. Yeah.
Anyway, there are services out there that will give you more historical data if you're really having oddball items that you can't get any comparables.
Yeah.
The other way to do it would be if you have like Elvis's sweatband. So
Yeah.
you got a sweatband that was wore on the 10 times that Elvis went running. It's got his sweat on it. You got a statement from his butler that
there's a
says
picture.
this was his sweatband,
Yep.
and it show a picture showing him wearing it. And you can't find comparables. You can put it on eBay for $10,000,
Starting bid at auction
or best offer.
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you can wait 2 months and see what kind of hits you get,
Yep.
see what kinds of questions, see what kind of people, and then you'll find out, oh my goodness, 10,000 or best offer. Somebody offered me 9,000. I bought it for $50. Or it might be like nobody, like nobody cares.
Yeah.
And so you might end up selling it for $75, and it might take you 6 months.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing on rare camera items, one thing I'll say that you can't find or you can't identify is there's a lot of forums, mostly for cameras in my experience, but there's forums for everything.
There's forums for watches.
There's forums for everything. So if you can't find something, find the most popular forum of that thing, put it in the right category, and ask a question. Never hurts to ask.
Now, in your minimal experience with watches, and we're still honing that, and I'm still not convinced watches is the best fit for us.
Yeah.
I mean, there's good money to be made for watches, but I'm not certain watches is going to be as lucrative for us as cameras.
No, I don't think it will be.
But do you feel that the average general buyer and seller can make money on watches?
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably need to look more, though, at doubling or tripling your money rather than hitting home runs all the time.
Yeah, and the thing is, even more so than cameras, people don't realize what some watches are worth, but the problem is finding those watches, testing those watches, knowing what they're worth yourself is the deal.
Would you say watch buyers are more persnickety than camera buyers, or less?
That's an interesting question. I don't know, I'd say they're similar, but in different ways. And one thing I'll say though, like I went to the flea market, this guy, he has 20 watches there, like he seems to know what he's doing. I buy a watch from him that one of the hands fell off for $5, and I didn't know anything about watches this time, barely. Like I was going to pick them up if I could find some. Bring this thing home, I stick the hand back on, that was kind of risky, I guarantee it, but anyway, it turned out great. It sold for $110, good 3 weeks later, and we made good money on that. So
And it stuck, and the guy or gal is hopefully happy.
Yep.
Because
that was a while ago. So
we've had a couple of watches come back already.
Yep.
And we haven't sold a whole
We resold
bunch.
one that came back, so.
Yeah.
And then this one came back, and I'm wearing it because I like it.
I mean, we've
I
sold
barely sold that one before.
We've sold 20 or 30 watches. We still have like 60 or 70 listed. We still have 150 in back stock.
Yeah, which some are better, some are worse.
So we have probably broke even on all the watches things so far.
Yeah.
Part of my thing about getting into watches is I didn't want to divide your time.
So far, it doesn't seem to be, but...
Well, and again, we're going to have varied opinions on different parts of that.
He sees a bigger picture, and I kind of see a
different parts of that.
I'm looking through a telescope, but you're looking through a wide-angle lens in some cases.
I mean, one of the big differences between the way you and I treat things is I have more of a time awareness, and you have more of a Twilight Zone time awareness. And I'm not, you know, sometimes I would like to be you. If we were both
through space,
well, if we were both you, man, this would be a much wilder,
a crazy show, man.
A much wilder vlog. But it's good.
If we were both 17-year-old kids trying to run a business, this would be a crazy vlog, man.
Next question. Yeah. Do you have USPS package pickup? We get this service in our area. It saves me a 10-mile round trip. If you don't want to leave it outside, they'll knock for pickup. Okay, so I do get this question a lot because people see me bringing my packages in. They're like, will USPS pick up? And the answer is yes. We did that for a while until I found out, and you'll have to ask in your area, the way our pickup works is it gets picked up, it's in the guy's truck or the gal's truck, they go back, and it sits until it would go out tomorrow. If I bring things down to USPS by a certain time, every day it gets out that day. So if I bring it down there, it ships a day earlier. People get it a day earlier.
Yep. And if you're putting in all that effort to pack that quickly, it's kind of wasted time. And of course, it's only a 10-minute walk. Like literally from our house to USPS, it's a 10-minute walk, which driving's a lot shorter than that, so it's not even that big of a deal.
I use
it. 10-minute
I use it to run errands. I see that.
Yep.
I use it to run errands. I use it to get out of the office a little bit. I use it to pick a little bit when I'm down there. I use it as a break.
It's not a wasted trip.
It's not a big deal.
Yep.
So we do enough volume where I'm never bringing like 1 or 2 packages down there.
That's true also.
Our average day is 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 packages. It don't matter. So to me, it's not a big deal, but we get a lot of feedback back. Fastest delivery I ever had. Fast delivery.
Yep.
Got it fast. That leaves an impression on me.
And I've got stuff like that. I'm like, whoa, I'm impressed.
It's one of the ways, other than your product described correctly, it's one of the best ways to set yourself apart.
Out of 50 things I've received, I've got 5 of them really quick. I was really impressed. About 40 of them were really good, like reasonable time, and then the last 5 were really, really slow, and that was not a good impression. So, same as it was, it's just different.
Now listen, this is embarrassing, but I had to change your poopy diapers. I paid the price.
Change my diaper, Daddy.
Oh my gosh. When you have kids and you want me to babysit, I will, but I ain't changing their poopy diapers. I'm done with that crap.
Yep, I changed some. It was fun.
That's true. Thank you.
Because I like the poopy diapers. I was fine with the pee diapers. The poopy diapers were bad. I always pushed that off to the younger kids already.
Oh.
That's a nice brother.
Well, it's nice about having a 5th and 6th child is you get to educate some of the older ones a little bit on the whole dynamic.
And that's one thing where it's being old is I don't have to change all the poopy diapers. I kind of push it off as a learning experience on the younger ones. So kind of worked.
Pass the buck.
Kind of worked for a little while.
Okay, question. What ages have all your kids started to help in the business? This is from a 17 going on 18-year-old girl. I watched you guys years ago. I don't know what happened. I didn't see your subscription anymore. I'm 17 turning 18, Wheeler. December of this year. Saving dollars and my knowledge and everything else to kick in gear in 2018. I wish your family great luck when you take it on the road, as well as the situation with your building. Okay. This is mostly my story. You can, I'll pause, you can chime in.
Interesting note.
Wheeler has been very curious, determined, technical, inquisitive, outgoing, dynamic, run hard on anything until you get to the answer and then keep going until you drop since he was born. And so probably when he was 10, this is what, 7 years ago, you started to see me do business stuff other than like a job or whatever. I was always involved in buying and selling, and you're like, hey, what are you doing? You know, and you were interested. And so I had you do some things starting probably at age 10.
Yeah.
And even before that, I mean, you were my firstborn. You don't remember a lot of this, but I had you doing things with me from the beginning. You begged me for 2 years when you were 4 and 5 to go out running with me at age 6. You went out running with me, and the first time you were so excited about going running with me until you hit about 3/4 of that first mile and found out it almost killed you. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
I was easy on you, but so probably age 10 for Wheeler here. Banana Peeler's 12 going on 13. He probably started to show some interest and probably got involved a little bit when he was 10 or 11, not as intense as you.
Yeah.
By age 12, Wheeler was wanting to do this 24 hours a day. I didn't allow you to do it 24 hours a day. I had a lot of things as a parent in mind that you needed to be doing, and I was worried about things, and I was easy on you. You always want to do this business more than I allow you to.
Yep.
I mean, there are some days where I'm like, it's 11:30 at night, and I'm like, when do you want to go home? And you're like,
whatever you want to go.
I don't really want to go home.
No,
so if I said 4 o'clock, you'd be like, all right.
Okay, let's go. Well, it depends on the night, but yeah, most of the nights I'm up and going because usually it kind of ramps up. My listing ramps up from about 10:30 on is good listing, so I feel like I could go for a good couple more hours.
Yeah.
And we quit.
So, that's that. It's not that I don't like that, but I have to deal with that.
Yeah.
So you were earlier, you were driven, you're still driven, you'll probably be that way your whole life.
The reaction to my old videos, and I can show you that a little bit. I actually have some old YouTube videos that I shot when I was that age. It's pretty funny.
There was a time, probably 4 years ago, Kate was probably 11 or 12. She's going to be 16 next month, February. When she was probably 11 or 12, where I had her list diabetic test strips.
Yeah.
I was trying to work with you. I was trying to get the camera thing. I was trying to sort a bunch of stuff out. She did it for a while. She's a different person. She is skilled in a lot of different ways. She was so bored with that. Mm-hmm. And so after like 6 months...
Well, it's like if you try to get me to list beer signs or like coolers, or I just wouldn't enjoy it as much as cameras.
Well, diabetic test strips, there's nothing to be excited about there. Yeah. So she got real bored with that, and then there were just, I think we moved out of the house, and that was it. Yeah. Now she wants to come back and start working for the business.
Mostly because we give her the ultimatum, get a job or work. So that's part of it.
Right. We want her to get some experience in the real world, and so there's a number of dynamics at play. So
she's a bit of a, like, I don't know what you call it, introvert in a lot of cases.
Well,
so we need to inspire a little bit there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'm not worried about it.
Definitely not.
Part of our dynamic of going back into the house, which means when we're on the road, we're all going to be living and working partially and mostly in the same space. That's going to be a different dynamic. People are going to do different things. Kate is taking actually away some of the meal prep and some of that away from your mom.
Oh yeah, recently. Yeah, that's good.
And so we're getting her involved in something. However, our whole family is going this direction. If you're part of the family, you need to be involved.
Yep.
In the business, in something else, whatever. That's just how it's going to be. That's how we operate. So, to answer your question, somewhere between 10 and 12 is when everybody started. I have another son, Benjamin. He's 10 going on 11. Mm-hmm. I think this summer, especially if we're still here, I'll probably have him come in and start doing some of the routine tasks that banana peeler does.
Yeah.
Garbage, cleaning stuff up, vacuuming floors.
Start at the bottom of the barrel. Yeah.
Well, yeah, right. And everybody does those things around our house anyway. We have tasks and things that everybody does. That's just what we do.
Chores, yep.
Chores. But whether he starts listing or something, I don't think he will. He does come along picking. All of our kids have come along picking and buying. All of them hate it and love it at the same time, because there is hard parts with picking and there's really fun parts with picking. And we try to make it fun too.
Yep.
So banana peeler is going to be 13 this year. He's probably going to get more of an accelerated role with listing.
Yep.
If he wants it. I never push the kids to do anything they want to do. What I do, this is a little different than that. I push them to sharpen their blade. I push them to be better at what they're doing. I correct them when they're going the wrong direction. I help them understand what's right and wrong. But I don't make you be here.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to make you better.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference. A lot of people, I think, when they watch our videos, they think I push things on you guys, when in reality you want to be here and you don't always want to do the right things, but I help you understand what is the right stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's a distinction that I don't think I've made on the show.
Yeah. So one more note I'll say on that is, you said you're going to go and like jump into it in 2018. And one thing I'll say quickly on that is, because I don't know exactly how much you've been doing. You might already have a part-time thing or whatever, but if you're going to jump in, like in the sense that's what you're going to try to do in 2018, don't wait till then to begin a part-time thing. The learning process takes a while, and it's always worth starting at least part-time at any point.
Don't wait, start
now. That's like jump right in, but I mean, at least start part-time and start gaining knowledge.
And by the way, if you want to, leave a comment on Wheeler's channel, I'm sure he'll talk to you all you want.
Yeah, there you go.
He's not shy. If you're not shy, I'm trying to set you up, Wheeler, on a date.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Any tax advice for eBay for any new newbies like me? Thank you. Okay. I do have tax advice, but it's not what you think, because I'm not a CPA, I'm not a bookkeeper. Legal ramifications of me giving you legal or tax advice, not going to happen. But here are my 2 big pointers on tax advice for anybody that doesn't feel comfortable doing their business taxes, right? Number 1. Keep good records of everything you buy and sell, everything you spend money on that you think is related to the business, and even extend that a little bit. Number 2, get a tax professional, hire them, use them, consult them, bookkeeper, spend some money, do that. I have always done my own taxes. I have done my own taxes every year since age 16. Except 2. 2 years I took my taxes to H&R Block and they charged me money, and I was like, what am I getting for my money? It didn't feel right. And so other than 2 years, I have done my own taxes. I did my family's business taxes, which was a business that was selling at its peak $1.6 million in sales, 12 employees. I did the business taxes. I've survived 2 audits where a guy sat in my office and kicked my ass for a whole month, and we survived 2 audits without having to pay anything extra. I've done my taxes, I've done my taxes, I've done my taxes. With that said, I would love to give that up. My wife's going to take it. We have professionals that are going to do some part of it. But was there a learning curve? Yes. Was there some pain and suffering? Yes. Do I feel closer to my business because I do the numbers and I'm in all that? Yes. Do I think I got every tax deduction? Probably not. Do I think I got most of them? Probably. Do I use TurboTax by Intuit? And do I think that's a good program? Yes. So keep good records. Find some help. That's it.
Stop. Get some help.
But again, disclaimer, that's my advice.
Yeah.
It works for me. It might not work for you. Oh my goodness. Do you sell locally like on Craigslist or offer up? No, not very often. Craigslist out here is virtually non-existent. We have what's called Next Tech Classifieds, which are pretty good out here. We also have our county buy and sell on Facebook, which is pretty good. We could have a booth locally. We do not buy and sell too many big items that we can't ship.
Yep.
And if we do, what we've typically done since we've been here is we just throw them in the back.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to do a little bit of that. I probably have 10 items that I would rather get a little more money for, and I'll put up on some sort of local classified thing when we move. Furniture items and stuff like that, there's probably 20 more at our house. 10 business items, maybe 20 more. The rest will be rummage sale, donate, throw out.
Yep.
Or online. Online's most of it.
Of course, there's eBay classified to where their goofy thing there is. I've never seen anything on that either. So, yep. Oh.
Here's somebody that said, that's good that you quit the drinks. I drink probably 6 Monsters a day. I feel like they have stuff in those things that addicted.
6 Monsters a day. Whoa.
Man, at my worst, I was drinking the green Monster energy drink when I was working second shift and third shift in the freezers at Schwann's. And then I was getting my test strip business off the ground. The worst I did is a stint of about 3 a day. Oh my goodness, my poor,
you up. I can't believe
poor
it.
liver and everything else. And the 3 a day are like 2 servings in each can.
Oh yeah, those things are heavy. The caffeine. I've got to, every time I have a real energy drink, like 9 out of 10 times I'm gonna feel kind of sick, and there's way too much caffeine in those things.
You become an awake zombie.
Yeah.
And an awake zombie is better than a sleeping person in a lot of cases. I've had to do that in the last 10 years to survive when we moved out here to where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
But I know my body can't take it much anymore, so recently I quit drinking Rockstar, and I'm having some coffee once in a while. I'm sleeping a little bit more. My body is letting me know that it's like more real than ever. I'm trying to run more. I'm trying to exercise more. I'm turning it around. But if you are drinking Monster or Rockstar or any of those things, obviously my recommendation would be take a real look at this thing and see where you're headed.
Yep, my opinion, coffee is a lot more healthy than Rockstar because it's natural. Well, that's just my thing. I'm sure, I just figure that Rockstar and all those kind of energy drinks have to be full of all kinds of
Now you live in a different climate than I did when I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
You push it harder than I did probably when I was 17. But you need to watch it.
Yeah.
6 Monsters a day. Oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
Your kidneys and liver and your brain are probably screaming out. You might want to figure that out. Who ships when you're on the road, or do you just set your handling time out? We've experimented a lot with that, and it all depends. If we go for a couple of days, I leave everything running. I pick up the slack afterwards. And sometimes I will email people and say, look, I'm out of the office for a couple days. It will ship on Monday. It'll ship on Tuesday. If we're gone 10 days, nobody ships. Auctions go down for 4, 5, 6 days. I'll pick them up, and then we'll ship when we get back.
Yep.
We've worked with it. I've tried putting the shipping time out there. I don't like that. There's a lot of things I don't like about that. There's no easy way to do it. So we'll still have to deal with that when we're on the road, because there will be transition times when we move locations every 3 months. Other than that, we'll be picking mostly locally, so that actually, it'll be less.
Yeah.
We'll actually, in a sense, we'll be on the road less than normal.
Yep.
If we're on the road a week between 3-month installments, that's only 3 or 4 weeks a year. That's less than we're on the road right now.
Yeah.
So that's not a big deal. But no, nobody ships. The business stalls out and we pick it back up. Usually when I pick it up, I'll do like, instead of a 11 or a 13% or a 10% sale price, I'll do like a 15, and that just makes up for those 4 or 5 days that we're going.
If eBay had a graph like YouTube, our sales would plummet into an endless void every time we take those auctions down.
I don't like to take auctions down, and I'll tell you what, it's the hardest thing when you're in the gerbil wheel, just every day grinding out the gerbil wheel. It's really hard to shut them down. It's one of the least favorite things I like to do, because the money stops.
Yeah. So
But
he stops flowing, the dealer stops being happy.
well, we've taken, I think last year was the 2nd year in a row that we did 2 family 10-day trips each year.
Yep.
And we plan, even though we're going on the road full time soon, like November, we're going to be gone 6 weeks. That's going to be something interesting right there.
Definitely will, yeah.
Haven't really thought that all out yet. We're doing a test case where we'll be a month in the same location, a week to get there, a week to come back. We want to see a lot of stuff. It's going to be 50% vacation and sightseeing and adventuring, and 50% real slow figuring out how it's going to feel on the road to do business, and we're going to pick.
Yep.
So this year again, just like the last 2 years, we're going to be gone on 2 10-day intense family vacation adventure picking trips.
Yep.
May and August. In fact, I'm already planning the May trip. We will shut auctions down there.
Yep.
And then we'll pick them back up. And we plan to buy like fools, even though we're heading out. I mean, we between you and I, we process. If we're selling 400 to 600 items a month, we have to process and list 400 to 600 items a month
At
consistently
least.
for a while, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, we buy a lot too. We have to. So what do you think about shutting auctions down or keeping them up? What's your whole take on all that?
Well, there's definitely, from my point of view, there's quite a few different ways you can go about it. You can set vacation an eBay thing, you can up your handling time, you can do a lot of different things. You could hire a packer who would pack the road. I think the way we do it is reasonably effective. It's not the only way that could be done, but it works. So I don't know. That's my take on it quick.
Dealer, what size shipping labels do you use for your Dymo printer? I have a Dymo printer. I use 2 5/16 times 4. They're too small. Can you do a video about your listing process? I'm interested in knowing if you make your listings right on eBay or if you use a separate platform and create them in bulk, one at a time, upload them, Turbo Lister.
Is it made by eBay? I think it is, isn't it?
Huh?
Isn't the Turbo Lister made by eBay?
Not sure. Well, they might sponsor it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it depends. I mean, what works for me might not work for you. Years ago, early in the turn of the century, 2002, 2003, when I was selling DVDs, I think I used Leapfrog or Inkfrog or Octiva, or I tried out another one that was like a multi-platform high thing, and each of those had pros and cons.
Absolutely. I used Octiva for about 1.5 years early on too.
I've tried other ones. I've tried Inkfrog or whatever like twice, and for our business, the end result I came to is keep it simple.
Yep.
Use the Manager Pro or whatever the heck it is.
There's a good upgrade recently with the the single page listing thing too, that cut the time down a little bit.
Yeah, I use eBay.
Yep, eBay.
I keep it simple. I keep all of our legal stuff simple. I keep all of our stuff on our listing simple. We have our IDs listed below. If you want to go check out our listings, Northwest Kansas listings are going to be a little bit different than Cannon Guy listings, but there's a lot of similarities.
Yep.
We keep it simple. I've tried a lot of those things. I've never been convinced to continue to do them. There are downsides with them.
I don't remember why I stopped using Octiva, but there was a reason, I'm sure.
Yeah, so different businesses would benefit probably from some of those things. If you list a lot of the same items, if you want to time when your listings go off, if you want different statistics, if you want to do multi-platform listings, for us, we are more about finding single good items.
Yep.
Than anything else.
I think what stopped Octiva is when my computer died the first time, my old iMac. My software went with it, and then I just started listening to eBay again, and it was just fine.
As far as labels go, I use 4x6-inch labels. Endicia, I go through them. I use their platform. They give me good address checking. They give me decent price on supplies. They give me insurance I can buy that's cheaper than the post office. They give me good tracking and a record of everything I list. Let's see. You got to find something that works for you. When I was newer in the business, I was searching for more things to help me. But really what I needed to do, rather than search for gadget of the day, is I just needed to work on my discipline and get down to it, keep it simple, and list.
Again, a photographer.
List.
Photographer analogy, if you shoot 10,000 photos, you'll be a lot better off the person who bought all the gear and has all this professional stuff. You can shoot on any camera. The best camera is the one you have with you. This is one of the sayings.
Well, another analogy out there, other than, I'm going to say this, if we were fake positive on this video, this daily vlog, if I was a more positive person, and if I had a little better trendy look and all that kind of stuff, and I had that fake positivity, I would have double the subscribers. Fake positivity sells. Mm-hmm. But
people like the mood boost from their drab lives. I don't know.
What were we talking about?
Fake positive.
Before that, listings and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I was going somewhere with this.
Yeah, they went to Endicia with the Daiwa printer. I don't remember.
I was going somewhere with this. Oh man. Dang it. I was going somewhere with that thought. I lost it. I can't even get it back.
Keep it simple.
No, it's not that.
I don't know. That's what we were talking about before.
Dang it. Brain cramp.
Yeah.
I had a point to make. Maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't. Okay. Sorry about that. What's your average? It's stupid because it was a totally unrelated thing and I was going somewhere with it. What's your average margin? Somebody asked me, what's your average margin? Well, the best way I can summarize our average margin across all the items we buy and sell is last year, our inventory cost somewhere around $70,000 and our gross sales for the year was somewhere around $250,000. Mm-hmm. 70,000, 250. It's 3 times our margin plus a little bit.
Yep.
Across the board. In any given category, any given item, who knows? When we go out buying, depending, if I go out buying a $100 item or more, doubling my money's cool.
Yeah.
But we buy a lot of things that we make 10 times our money.
Yep.
We buy a lot of things that we make 20 times our money. We buy some things, we make double our money. We buy some things that are broken. But
And most of the things we buy that we make 10 and 20 times our money are a lot less expensive than the ones we make double our money on. So that's the deal. That's why those don't add up like to crazy numbers. We don't buy something for 100 and sell it for 2,000 that often.
Not very often.
Yeah.
Although we have had a few
we've done before.
scores. I had this audio horn that looked like an air raid siren that I bought for 50 and sold for I think 800 or 900.
Yeah.
So it does happen.
It does happen, yeah.
But not very often. Same with some camera stuff. We bought a few camera things that have bought for 50 and sold for a lot.
Yeah.
Average margin 3 to 1. Do you set up a scheduled set of sales or do you think of it? Yeah, let's see what this is. I like the idea of showing how you set up your sales. Do you set up a scheduled set of sales or do you do it as I think of it? Okay, so we have a different, and we've just kind of grown into it and we've kind of grown accustomed to it and it works for us. Cameras, we have 10-day listings.
Yep.
So a listing will start, it will end in 10 days, we have to relist it. I feel we get a bump in sales when that thing hits the skids. It's first day that it comes up, a lot of people think, hey, a new listing.
Yeah.
When it comes to day 9 of a 10-day listing, people are like, that thing's going away. I think we get a bump there too. And so we run sales in there depending on how I feel. I typically will run a sale from Monday night till Wednesday. I'll run another sale like Thursday and Friday, and I might run another sale late Friday or early Saturday till Monday morning. We're running sales 80% of the time. Our items are on sale. 11% off on the camera channel. It can vary if we're going to go on a vacation. It can vary if I drop the ball. It can vary if I just don't feel like running sales or I'm real fat with cash. It can vary if I'm low on cash and I need to sell some stuff.
Yep.
We've run 20% sales occasionally, and that generates a lot of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
On the Northwest Kansas general near West merchandise, signs, beer stuff, electronics, video games, we run 30-day listings, and again, I get a bump early and I get a bump when stuff ends. I run sales that whole time similar to the camera channel.
Yep.
13% off. Why? I don't know. 13% off. It seems to work. Sometimes I run 15%, but mostly 13%. Watches, too early to tell, and I need to run a sale tonight, but 10% off seems to boost it.
Yeah.
And we run 30 days on the watches?
Yeah.
30 days on the watches. We do not run good till sold.
I think those almost just play as 30-day auctions anyway, don't they? They just kind of renew themselves, sort of.
Well, certain
kind of weird
categories, good till sold. I don't even know how that works, but the good till sold does not get a bump. There's no urgency. The urgency is when something's on sale. This is for your customer. The urgency is when something comes on newly listed, and the urgency is when something is ended. All of those things, I think, get a bump in best match, which is what a lot of people search under. And the people that are searching on ending and the people that are searching on newly listed, they will hit all those things.
Yep.
Thoughts?
Pretty much sums it up. I'd say that only applies to buy it nows. Auctions are a whole different game.
We don't
do buy it nows.
We don't do a lot of auctions.
Yep, we do buy it nows. So that's the deal with that.
Keep talking.
Keep talking about what? I don't know what.
When you bring the USPS packages in, do you just drop them off at the back of the building or do you drop them off at the counter? I think I answered this one in a video not so long ago when this question came in. I bring them to the counter. I have a great rapport with the 6 people that might work the counter at USPS. I don't know them all by name, but boy, they know me, and I'm a little oddball, and I say funny things, and I try to make them laugh. I try to make them memorable. I trust those people, whatever. When we go to a strange city, it's a whole different ball game.
Yep.
So you're going to have to gauge where you're at. Are you going to clear out every item out in the next year? If not, how will items be shipped that are currently in stock? We're not going to clear everything out. We're going to downsize everything that can't fit in the trailer. What fits in the trailer and what hasn't sold will be brought along. And when we get there, we will sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about it.
That's how it's going to work. We're going to bring this stuff, because we're probably trying to narrow down our inventory over the next year, but most of it can come with us.
Do you use any listing software to sell on multiple platforms like eBay, Amazon simultaneously? I've been trying to use 6-bit software. I think I've tried it, but unfortunately it does not seem that it's working out. Thank you for all your videos. Very educational. Good question. We have thought about expanding our camera business on Amazon. The biggest problems that I see with doing that are many of our items are one of a kind, or we don't have them in stock very often.
That's the deal.
And they're also vintage, they're also used, and so we're just not that interested in that, and Amazon is not what I think the best fit for some of that stuff.
Yeah.
eBay is a great fit for what we do. Our sales are good enough on eBay. We've managed the product flow where our inventory is not like overflowing. Even though it's getting bigger, I could make it smaller in a couple of months. All I have to do is increase the sale price a little bit and it would go.
Yeah.
So I've thought about it. I've looked at that software. I'm aware of what would happen there or what we could do there. If we were selling new merchandise only, barcodable stuff, I would consider it more.
Another thing is that I've noticed on Amazon is seller refurbished type cameras, which this would be A1s, this would be K1000s. The problem is those sell as good or better on eBay with less work, in my experience. Also Etsy. Etsy is a big place. You can sell folding / box cameras / even A1s and all that, and they sell for a bit of a premium. But again, it's a different platform. It would take more learning, and we sell that stuff just as well on eBay. Like, it sells too quick to even think about selling it somewhere else.
Certain items.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, though. Those are the ones that sell well on Etsy and Amazon. My experience would be A1s, K1000s. They'll sell well for us, though.
Right.
That's the deal.
So the stuff
especially that Canon guy.
The stuff that is more mainstream on Amazon, that would be listable on Amazon, would sell just as well.
And the thing is, right at first, especially like on Etsy, where you'd be starting at 0 feedback, and on Amazon, I don't know how many feedback you have. You wouldn't be quite specialized. You wouldn't be known quite as much as an expert, and you'd be a little bit. It'd be like almost starting like a new seller, which is not very good for sales in a lot of cases.
Enjoy your videos. I hope you post them on Twitter. Okay, I have recently signed up on Twitter as crazy. Well, I was on Twitter for some other reasons in the past. I think there's that Air Guy Twitter that I don't use anymore.
I've got guys reviews Twitter that I've never used.
We are now Crazy Picker Life on Twitter, and I will put that in the about pretty soon if you want to follow us. But Crazy Picker Life, I am broadcasting all of the videos out on Twitter. It's more of an experiment than anything else. I don't know what will come of it. But yes, we are on Twitter, Crazy Picker Life.
Funny thing is, my experience with Twitter / Facebook / social media, most teenagers my age are all into that whole thing. Instagram, I'm really, really bad at those. The one time I decided to make a Facebook and a Twitter for my camera review channel back in the day, a year or 2 years ago, I ended up getting questions and I never checked that page. And then when I got back to them, they were all angry at me because I wasn't able to answer the questions in a timely manner. It was horrible. So I've had really bad experiences with it just because I'm not good at social media. I'm not very social, I guess you could say. Email, I check my email every day. Social media, I forget to check it if I have it. So I try to steer away from it.
Okay, so here was
no doubt it's a good thing to promote stuff in cases.
Here was a good question, and I do get these questions from time to time, like, I'm thinking of going from part-time to full-time. We have a plan in place, part-time to full-time. We're going full-time next year. We're going to make a run at going full-time. I get those questions.
Yeah.
I get those comments. And my biggest response, if you don't read through our comments, which I think people should read through our comments on certain videos because you'll learn things back and forth. I try to respond to most of them. I am a little bit behind, and with this video, I don't know. One day I'm not going to be able to respond typing to comments. It is harder for me. It takes longer. Wham dealer. I like to do this more.
Yeah.
Because I think
it's more personal. It feels like I can articulate better through a video.
So maybe we should just do this every 2 weeks and just go through
Maybe
2 weeks
so.
of comments.
Yeah.
And just that'd be the end of it. And we'll just announce it that we're doing that. But anyway, my advice is this. If you're going to go from part-time to full-time, before you go full-time, make a plan with everything you know and can figure out. Make it a one-page plan. Have your partner, your spouse, your business partner, whoever on board. You know, plan it here in your mind and on paper. And then sometime before you actually quit your job or decide you're going to do full-time or start buying a whole bunch of stuff, do a few test weeks, or better yet, a test month. And you get to talk on this in a minute because I'm going to look for the next question. But a test week would look like this. Whatever you think you're going to do when you start full-time, do that hardcore for a week, then go and analyze what happened. And it will point out some of your weaknesses. Better yet, do it for a month, even if you're working full-time, even if you have a family and all that. Go hardcore for a month. It might almost kill you, but it will show you so many things about yourself, the business, everything else, that you will be able to figure some more things out before you actually cut the umbilical cord.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I had the same thing. Keep your job and work harder just to at least trial run things. And if you haven't been doing it for a while, you really can't go from 0 to 100 really quick. You have to have some experience, and that it always helps. Like, you can go in cold turkey and that can mess you up. Have lots of learning experiences, and that's not necessarily the best way to do it. So I don't know. I'd say on that.
Okay, so we made this big move to Kansas, and people say, well, why Kansas, right? The short answer is 10 years ago, I didn't have anything holding me in Wisconsin, and I'm an adventurer at heart. I'm a traveler at heart. I want to see things. I want to do things. And so the short answer is now's the time. Why not? My wife, Lon, was not working. I was the sole breadwinner. We had a break and all that. Not by choice necessarily. That's a whole different story. If you look back through my vlogs, it's there somewhere. I don't even know where our story is. But we moved because there was nothing keeping us there. I did sort of an engineering graph, 6-7 locations. I had a whole list of criteria. I rated these areas that we looked at around the country 1 to 5. I added it up. I picked a couple. Wheeler and I drove out there and looked at them, and we settled on our location.
Yep.
Based on the criteria. That was it. We went to Billings, Montana.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Yep.
We went to here, Northwest Kansas. I was already familiar with Charleston area, South Carolina. I had been in some other places in the country. We settled on here. We moved here. We liked it. We made it our home. 10 years. Now we're going to cast that aside and go full-time on the road.
Yeah.
You remember any of that?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. I remember, we actually we're staying in a town, like a Super 8 motel or something, in a town 40 miles from here. I don't remember the exact story. I'm sure dealer remembers more, but I think we discovered this town almost by accident, if I remember correctly. We were just driving, and there it was.
What's that? This?
Like, yeah, because we were
Well,
down the road here.
there's two towns that look the same on paper. One is closer to Denver, called Goodland, Kansas, and one is Colby, Kansas. And on the internet, which back then was good, but not like it is today, and on paper they looked very similar. We stayed in Goodland, and then we came here, and we were like, wow, night and day. Here's where we need to be. Nothing against Goodland, Kansas, but they are the first stop for the drug traffic from Colorado.
Yeah.
And that town is suffering compared to here.
It's on its way down versus a little bit of a rise in this.
And there's wonderful people in Goodland, and there's a lot of good things happening over there. They just have made certain decisions that have made that not the same place as here, and that was evident to us. And if I had to choose today, I would still choose where we're at.
Yeah.
But if you want to move someplace, you can do a lot of searching on the internet. Obviously, there's so much information available. Take in all the considerations: climate, housing, jobs if you need one, picking, location to picking, how your family's going to feel, if they have a Walmart, whatever. Mm-hmm. Take all those things into consideration. My list was like 20 different things. I did.
Right, we were a super Walmart here when we moved, and there really wasn't a lot by the highway. The highway has expanded, exploded since we moved here, which is pretty funny. Highway traffic is big.
So here I had a person who was very concerned about me, and I appreciate that. I don't know if I come off personally as like fragile. I voice a lot of things. I am a communicator. I have empathy towards people, but I also am hardcore on people, like, come on, give me 20, So my volume control emotionally goes up and down. Don't worry about me. Now you're a whole different animal. you like,
yeah, pretty much.
But
it's an issue.
I've also seen you rage.
That's the thing. I don't get mad often. Like, my friends have never seen me get mad. They mentioned that a couple of times. Like, man, you never get mad. And like a lot of scooter riders, when they can't do a trick, they're like, ah! But I just really don't. But then when I do, oh, watch out. It's like once a year. Totally different.
Somebody asked about, I love the quality of your vlogs. Would you talk about the equipment you use for the vlog? Everything I do, now I may like expensive things sometimes. I may like obscure things sometimes. I may have some hobbies like running or whatever that the average person is like, that's a little bit extreme. But I like to keep things simple.
Absolutely true. Like, in my personal thing here, like, first of all, I'm looking at buying a vlogging camera, so I'm looking at, the funny thing is I'm a tech nerd in some cases, and then I'm practical in a lot of other cases, so it kind of clashes a lot. I've looked at 100 different cameras, let's say, and looked at all the pros and cons, every single thing. A lot of them are technically superior to one or the other, but they all have issues, and I'd rather keep it simple, just like Dealer said. I'm basically a camera similar to this one. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it works well. Same with the MacBook that I picked up. It's not as powerful as some others, but it works well. That's it. Keep it simple.
So for this vlog, I use a Canon G7X camera.
Mark II.
It was like $600. I got some accessories with it. I used some sort of a Gorilla stick on the thing.
Gorilla Pod Model X with the ball head.
That I broke, so I can't even use it as a tripod.
I think I could fix it, but yeah.
It's a weak design. Other people have had problems. I use a MacBook Pro. I use, what's my software?
iMovie.
I use iMovie, which is like
somebody asked me
basic
on my thing, and I said Final Cut Pro 10. I use a fancy software.
Yeah.
But
and once in a while we have lighting. Like today we have pretty good lighting in this room. This room
left over from crazy.
This room has good lighting, and then we have some lighting.
Yeah, that's one nice thing about this office. It has great lighting as far as lighting goes. I barely need anything to take photos with.
So really, those are the pieces of equipment that I use.
Yeah.
I keep it simple. I I talked to Wheeler about this, and he knows, but I tend to put stuff out there. Content, if you're going to do videos, will sell way over having fancy equipment.
You don't have clickbait, because the thing is, content can be fancy videos in some cases. Like if you're a filmmaker and your film sucked, but your content is great, people aren't going to watch it. But if your film is cinematographically great, people will watch it because they're like, whoa, that's a step above the rest. But then there's like the law of diminishing returns and all that. Content, it sells.
Content sells. I'm going to give you an example of somebody who's really stuck with it on YouTube, and now, I mean, they have a sort of an extreme lifestyle, but they're making enough money to do the adventuring they want, and then some. Adam the Woo. Many of you have watched Adam the Woo.
Adam the Woo here.
Adam the Woo does a daily vlog.
Daily vlog channel, yeah.
And he does it all on his, I think it's an iPhone.
Yeah.
I think he edits most of his videos on his iPhone, and then he's got some other equipment. He's got a computer and things like that. He tours in a motorhome. He keeps it very, very simple, but his content and his manner and his eye for shooting what's interesting, and obviously he's out there many hours per day looking at stuff. It's the content.
It's the same thing as, like, first of all, take 1,000 pictures, but secondly, you have to wait for the right shot, and you have to know what to look for the right thing. That's the thing.
All right, so here's another one this one's pretty pointed at you, and we talked about this from time to time, but I don't know.
Are you talking about this one last question answer already?
Well, we get this over and over, so
yeah.
We might. I think this is the same question but a different ask. If Wheeler leaves the business and you are making these plans to travel and pick, will your business suffer? Will you survive without Wheeler? This only came in 6 days ago.
I see.
I think you and I have talked about it, but this question comes in time and time again. The business, the way it's designed, is camera heavy, and I have put that in Wheeler. Now, my perspective is this, and this might put a little pressure on Wheeler's answer or whatever, but I'm in this business for the long haul. I've encouraged Wheeler to stick with this business and to stick with me. That doesn't mean you need to live with me. That doesn't mean you need to live right next to me, whatever. But I have put a lot of effort in because I think Wheeler is tight with this and he's in on it at a certain level for the long haul.
Yeah, so my thoughts on that. You're trying to go over to me there. On the road, I like being on the road. I like adventuring.
I knew it.
I like going on the road. I like adventuring. I like exploring. That's exactly like what I want to do. So it aligns with what I want to do, and what I think is, what's the worst that could happen? A year down the road, I can buy a vehicle. I can keep going along with these guys. I can keep doing the business, and I can do everything else I want too. Like, what's the problem there? There's nothing there.
Well, I don't know if people don't think we get along, but I think we get along.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we realize, A, there's an age difference. B, I'm your father, you're my son. C, we are business partners, but technically I'm still the boss.
Yep.
D, until you graduate in April or May, I'm your teacher.
Yep.
So there's all these variables, but for the most part, we're kind of like buddies.
Yeah.
And we respect each other, and we pick each other up, dump each other off, punch each other. No, we don't do that. But look, if he gets a girlfriend, A, I'll say great, and I'll meet her, and I'll encourage him one way or the other, thinking what I think. But I'll be like, hey, bring her along.
Yeah.
That would be my first choice.
Shit, I want to get a cool vehicle. I want to keep going. I like exploring. That's
if he has to stay in Tennessee with somebody, okay, I'll work around it. If he gets sick of being with the family, I understand. It's not going to be the end all. I'm mentally prepared for it, but I've also invested in this business, and you're invested in this business too, where this works pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you said, we can work around the downsides of it, right?
I feel like this is a win-win for both of us. I can do what I want to do. I can travel around the country on reasonably low expenses, and I have it all set up for me. It's really a good thing.
If that changes, it changes.
Yep.
You know, if Wheeler abandons the business and I end up pushing a shopping cart
Move to India
in Atlanta,
and
have to move to India and sell fake signs, I'll do it.
Funny, yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I got at least one more venture in me before I'm way over the hill.
You can bring a YouTube channel.
All right,
Move
so
to India, sell fake signs.
So I get a lot of pointed comments.
Mhm.
Here's one. You need to list more yourself. Well, there have been times in our business, where I have listed a lot. I mean, we didn't get to this by me just not doing anything ever.
Yep.
So I responded, pick well, list often. This business, the way it is by design. Okay, so we had two $1 to 50K challenges. Both of those we had to buy and sell and list well. I'm not saying this in any way to diminish your listing or anything, but if you were running your own business beginning to end, and if I was running my own business beginning to end, and if anybody out there was running their own business, eBay business, from beginning to end, who do you think would win?
Well, at 12 years old, not me. Or however old I was, 13, 14, whatever it was. I wasn't ready, for sure.
Right. That's it? That's all you're going to give me?
I'm going to give you, man. Yeah, because let's say there's 10 things to keep a business running. Dealer does 7 of those. I do, let's say, 3 of them. So he has a lot more on his plate than just listing.
Well, I list too, but...
He lists, yeah.
Right. Well, I wanted you to say, man, you would be hard to compete with, Dealer, because
You would be a hard competitor. He's a
you're
hard
an
worker.
ass kicker. Well, not only that, but I don't give up.
He doesn't. No. Yeah, I don't give up either.
And I'm steady.
I'm on the run. I'll run until I pass out. I don't care.
And I'm steady.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, definitely. He's a hard worker. He really
forget
goes
it.
for it, man.
So when I get this comment, you need to list more, you know what I say? You're right. But obviously there has to be a balance. You gotta love a teenager. They are a special breed. What do you say to that,
true.
Wheeler?
Yes, very true.
Mm.
Hey, you don't love teenagers, man. Yeah, they're so weird. That's funny. I won't be a teenager forever, man. It's only gonna be 2 more years. Gotta be a teenager. Some sort of 20-something.
So here's a question that comes in. You know, we're going to do this on-road thing, and we're going to stay in homes 3 months at a time. Somebody asked, why don't you get an RV? You know, you could move when you wanted to. You could have your home wherever you wanted to. You can save money, blah, 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 blah. Well, 8 people in an RV can be done.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of scenarios that I've looked at over the years. It can be done. The bottom line is, my wife Lon does not want to do an RV. She won't go in an RV. And I understand that. And I agree with her on a lot of different ways. So it could be done. There would be a lot of downsides. There would be some upsides. She won't do it. I had to come up with something that she would do because Lon is part of my life. And I want her with me. And I want her to be happy. And so this is what we're doing.
The way we're doing it right now, hotels, without bringing the whole business with us, that's a bit space constrained, it feels.
Well, we're going to get big houses.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So an RV is even smaller than that,
Well,
so you can imagine, and then obviously house is a lot better. So,
Yeah. So my wife, Lon, for the most part,
we're downsizing, not
she's
like micro housing.
She's smarter than me. I will admit it. She is smart. Thank goodness, because again, just like Wheeler and I have many things in common, we have many contrasts that complement each other. We have a few that we knock heads on. My being and my wife's, again, we are opposites in a lot of things.
always has its
advantages and it has some disadvantages. Yeah. It all works out.
I was gonna say, like, we're downsizing, not moving into a sardine can. Not quite that bad, but I don't know.
No, I don't even want to bring that up. Here's another comment that I really loved. We can't wait to see this train wreck unfold.
I think it was a joking comment, but still.
No, it wasn't, because when I hit him with another comment, then he came back with the knife. You don't work much. Wheeler does it all. You can do with Wheeler, but he can do without you. And I'm like, shh.
Okay.
You son of a gun.
Sounds like a joking comment, but there was a troll hidden
Oh
underneath the
no,
bridge.
he's been silenced.
Yeah.
People that I silence, which are far and few in between. There are a few.
You've been censored.
They still, when you see these down thumbs,
That's the track
why
record.
are you still watching, people? If you don't like what I'm saying, why are you still watching? Where does
They
this
probably don't. They probably just click the thumbs down just for the heck of it. There's certain YouTubers who have had issues in the past, major YouTube dramas, they've gotten half thumbs downs, and it goes down after a year, but after a year they're still getting like a quarter thumbs downs on every single video of those people who are just refuse to quit.
It's okay.
So I'm saying, there's people
All right, we got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I found an old Rolling Rock beer bottle, 6-ounce green. Should I buy it for $1.99?
I'd say no because I don't know a lot, but you answer that.
I would say it depends.
Yes. That's it. Look it up. Research on your own. Decide if it's...
You have to find a comparable.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if it's $1.99 Rolling Rock green beer bottle. It doesn't matter if it's a brick.
Is it Rolling Rock still a green beer bottle?
It doesn't matter if it's a piece of toenail.
Yeah.
You have to find a comparable. If you can't find a comparable, you shouldn't buy it again.
Yeah.
If you can't find a comparable, you got to find something close to it. You got to find some way to price it. It's like real estate. When a realtor, a good one, comes to your house, they try to find prices on the houses around you. That gives them an indicator of how they should price your house. Then they start looking at more specifics like 2-story, 5-bedroom, garage, big lot, and they compare it to other homes like that. That's how they come up with the pricing. That's how they sell it to the end user. They say, well, I see that you also want to live in that area. Those prices over there are higher comparable to this house in this neighborhood. You get the same house, different neighborhood. Do you like that? And if they say yes, they sell in that house. If they say no, then they go to that other neighborhood and they sell in that house. You got to find a comparable. I can't do it for you. You need to learn how to do that. That's one of the 10 secrets of making this business tick, is finding something and then figuring out yourself what the heck it is worth. eBay is huge for that. Google Images is huge for that. What else?
Well, here's one thing I was going to say. On a scale from a professional reseller, when you see an item you don't know anything about, there is a scale that you should follow on buying that or not. There's no-brainers. There's things that obviously you know are worth something, no-brainer, buy it. There's low risk, which means something that's inexpensive and has a good chance of being worth something in your experience. And if you don't sell it, then who cares? You didn't pay a lot for it, and it was worth the experience. Then there's high risk, which would be something you pay a lot of money for and you have no idea. Those are most likely do not buys. And then there's just, it's really not even worth the learning experience. There are certain things that just, they aren't worth trying to sell, buy and sell. I don't know. Just, that's why I'd say, like, when I look at an item that I have no idea on, I think back to everything I know, and then I make that determination.
This business is experiential. And when we started this business, we were picking up a lot of things on instinct, a lot of things that looked cool, a lot of things that we didn't know, and we made mistakes, and we got items that could make us money, and we hit a few home runs.
Yep. If you're afraid to take risks, if you're afraid to make mistakes, if you're afraid to do that, there's the whole opposite end of the scale where you can be too reckless. But if you're afraid to mess up and afraid to take little risks, you're not going to learn.
Yeah.
That's the deal.
if you make mistakes and pay attention, you will grow in this business. You should not put dollars into this business.
Yep.
If you need to put food on your table, what you need to do is, go get a job, go get some money flowing. You got to do this with spare money and then take the risks. And then the experiential will kick in.
Mm-hmm. You
buy that bottle at $1.99. It turns out to be a throw to the wall bottle. The next time you go to buy a bottle, you're going to find a better one, or you're going to do that again. Then you buy a bottle. Pretty soon, you're not going to either buy bottles or you're going to buy the right one.
And don't buy things that are like lottery tickets. Don't buy the same thing over and over and over, just hoping to strike it big. If there's not a market for it, there's not a market for it.
This business is not guesswork.
No.
This business is a grind.
Yep.
This business is learning to look things up. This business is getting interested in the things that you are buying and selling and getting passionate enough to do the work.
Yes.
This business is about pleasing people, getting items to them that they want in the condition that you describe. The business is about timeliness, getting things out when you say you're going to get them out. This business is about presentation. This business is about going through the motions. This business is about listing.
Pick well, list often. Don't be afraid to take a risk. Don't be reckless. And what was my last one? I had one other one.
Well, if you want to sit on your ass and get a lottery ticket, go buy the lottery ticket.
Yep.
This business is not that. If you want a business that will provide for your family, it will take time, energy, effort, and it will take agony, it will take grinding, it'll take long hours. But once you get past all that, let me ask you this, Wheeler. Mm-hmm. You're 17 years old. Could you drop into any city? You might have to live in your car for a while, I don't know. If you had $500 in your hand and you were dropped into any city with a place to sleep, or even not a place to sleep, I don't know, a computer, internet access, could you over time come out of that with a place to live, develop a family, start over, whatever?
Yes, 100%.
You're 17. How the heck could you do that?
Yeah. And one thing I'll say about business, about trying to work for yourself, about this, it has to be like a passion. It has to be like something, your dream job. It has to be like your dream job. You have to be ready to take any risks, anything, and you have to be passionate about it. You can't just flake into it. It's just not going to happen.
Well, if this business sounds like shoveling shit, and you do it for a while, and it feels like shoveling shit, it ain't for you. It ain't gonna get no better.
If you're not willing to keep at it until you make it.
But if you like buying and selling stuff, if you like the treasure hunt, if you like finding something for $5 and selling it for 50, if you like old stuff, if you like used stuff, if you like talking to people, if you like learning stories, if you like going places, if you like adventuring, oh my goodness, this business is awesome.
Yep. Bit over enthusiastic, but that works.
Yeah, what the heck? What are you gonna do?
Well, that's how we feel about it.
More or less. Other than you see a lot of the grind, and there is grind.
Yes.
This is hard work.
Yes.
There's no lunch ticket here.
If you enjoy it, this is a great business.
Well, you don't know this.
Oh yeah.
I've worked a lot of jobs that for me were a lot like taking a 2-pound fish and hitting it in your head.
You don't like the 9 to 5.
All day long.
Yeah. If you love your 9 to 5 job, this is not for you.
Yeah. Okay. Ending subject. So, at 11 o'clock, which is going to be extended by a few minutes tonight,
man,
we're going to break off. I'm going to get Banana Peeler. We're going to get together, have some popcorn, and we are going to watch Smokey and the Bandit.
Yes.
Which came out, I looked it up, I couldn't believe it. It came out in 1977.
Wow, that late. I thought it was a lot earlier than that.
Burt Reynolds, Sally Fields, some country singer that's in the truck, the semi-truck, some guy who's Sheriff Buford, who's funny as heck, can't think of his name, some other deputy, Funny show.
Funny thing is, I've heard so much about this, I would have guessed it's anywhere from the 40s to the 60s. I would never have thought 70s. You would obviously know a lot more about it.
I just looked it up to see if we had it in.
Yeah.
We have Netflix and we have Amazon Prime. It's not available to stream on either. You got to pay for it.
Have to buy it.
But 1977, and it's listed as one of the craziest car wreck films ever. Now there's
right next to Mad Max.
There's better ones. Well, the newest Mad Max. Oh my gosh,
that's now officially for anything. It's surpassed everything as car wrecks go. They had 171 custom cars in there. There's no way.
So we're gonna end this vlog. Thanks for watching. Here's the deal. If your question didn't get answered, we went back 1 week, and I apologize. I get a lot of questions, a lot of comments. I like receiving those, but it's hard to go back any farther than that. I can't sit there and pick them all out and print them up. When we do another question and answer show, please keep watching. I will announce it a few days ahead. Get your question in. If it's burning, get it in. We'll do it. We do them all.
Yeah.
We're not afraid.
You announce a couple days ahead. If we go a week back, then we'll hit your question. So that's how it works.
Tomorrow's another vlog. Tomorrow is Saturday. I plan to list all day. You plan to list all day. That'll be fun. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this long show. Thanks to Graphic Stock for sponsoring the show.
That's about it.
Pick well, list often.
Wheeler out.
And dealer out.
Hey, Wheeler.
Dealer Production.